So should
All
I speak?
right. We're live. We're live. So Martin here with Real Talk Lifeline. I'm here with a very special guest, Athena.
Hi,
So
hi everyone.
hello everyone. And so we'll get right to it because again, this thing I feel is gonna help me and other people as well.
Mhm.
So people following the Real Talk Lifeline group, again, whatever challenge personal you're going through, you're free to share it. My personal journey is a healing for my own depression. So the main question, and this is gonna be me also learning Athena's background, because aside from meeting you in the office for
Mm.
work, that was in 2018 ba yan? Or
No, that is 2017.
17?
2016.
16, okay.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot that I know about you now. So feel free to share like your story or background again. So it's
Mm.
just us right now. And the
Okay.
main question, yeah, that hit me as a guide is how did you heal from depression, anxiety, and panic attacks?
Okay.
So
So first,
I'm just here to
I'll
learn.
I'll I'll tackle first how I started.
All right.
Para may
Yeah.
background tayo. So, in 2018 of October, when my mom passed away, it brought
Mm-hmm.
us deep sorrow to a point I will only eat because my body needs it. I don't feel happiness in eating nor on anything that I do because, well, basically because I'm on a bereavement stage at that time. After dinner, I would do my chores right away. I take a
Mm-hmm.
shower, be a mother to my child, read read him a book, and go to sleep right away. I would sleep as early as 7 o'clock at night, so I won't have to bother thinking of feeling how sad I am at that moment. In
Mm-hmm.
short, I reject the feeling of being sad because in my mind I have a son and a husband who needed me. That time I didn't know it was already what doctors call depression. I hid
Okay.
away from my friends and I couldn't urge myself to reply on messages and calls. I would even look down whenever I see someone I know so that they won't know that I've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even want any small conversation even through messages or texts. I even told myself that I'm gonna give myself at least 2 weeks of rest, then I'll go back to my usual routine, such as go to the gym and talk to people again. Little did I know that I was beginning to enter the bad part of depression, which is anxiety. I first started having severe headache that lasts a whole day, even with pain medication. Before all this, I feel that I was already starting to have that mild anxiety when my mom was still alive and still in the hospital. This was the time when I found out that she was dying of cancer. I would feel as though there's something piercing in the middle of my chest. And that's literal, huh? When I say there's something piercing in the middle of my chest, I really thought that there's something in my chest at that time.
Physical.
Yeah, yeah, it's very
Wow.
physical. And
Mm-hmm.
I would feel so dizzy occasionally. I even had to see a doctor numerous times and the doctor would tell me I'm just stressed out because of the current situation. But then when we think that oh, okay, that's just it, the worst comes to the worst part of the anxiety, which is the panic attacks.
Mm.
Martin, are you aware of the panic attacks?
I'm not sure if it's the same as I experienced as you, but 2014, 13, I
Mm-hmm.
had I don't know if it's the same, but the anxiety attack I had, I felt like I was gonna die.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's that part.
Okay, okay, so
It's the same thing.
yeah.
So, with me, I was driving my son to school when suddenly my heart started beating fast to a point
Mm-hmm.
I can feel it down my throat. My hands and body became sweaty and cold. I can even feel the dizziness, and I became too anxious that I might faint anytime due to weakness. Because you feel weak at that time when you're having the attack. You'd feel
Mm-hmm.
weakness, extreme weakness, until the heavy breathing came, and I just know I need to make a scene so someone could notice something is wrong inside my car. I honked the horn like crazy so the traffic enforcer would notice as well, until it was
Mhm.
noticed, and I was asked to continue it until I could park to a nearest ramp. Imagine I told the traffic enforcer, and he told me to just continue driving because I was told to continue driving because anxiety and depression isn't visible in the
Mhm.
naked eye. So you cannot tell if something's wrong with a person who is having an attack because it's very invisible. I
Mhm.
prayed so hard not to faint while driving, for my son is with me at that time. Good thing I'm still near my area when it happened. And that day was the first time I was told I have anxiety. And if after a month the calming meds doesn't work, then I will have to take a different medication. So this went on every day, and each day the attacks would last 15 to 30 minutes of me having a hard time breathing. And
Wow.
each day became very frequent. One attack became 10 and more in a day. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Can you imagine? I can't even looking back now, I can't even imagine how I was at that time. I thought my life was over. Just when I thought it's the worst thing that it could happen, then suddenly I thought I don't know how to live anymore. I
Mhm.
cannot live alone anymore because I started having panic attacks the minute my companion literally starts taking a step away from me. I thought this
Mhm.
was the end of me talaga at that time. And so, uh, I couldn't this is not an exaggeration though. Ha, yung 10 times attacks a day wasn't really an
Holy shit.
exaggeration. It's real. It's but it is invisible to the naked eye. So you cannot really tell if something's wrong with with the person having an attack. And that time I cannot drive anymore. I cannot be in a car without an attack. So I cannot take an elevator alone. I cannot walk alone. I
Mhm.
cannot sleep. I cannot sleep. Literally, I cannot sleep. I started being sleepless um, for a week already, and I cannot. That's straight ha. The 1 week was straight. Wala talagang tulog. Kahit anong gawin ko, hindi ako makatulog. And
Wow.
cannot even do regular workouts anymore because I feel like every time I would because when you're working out your breathing is excessive as well at some point. It makes you feel that it is an attack, so the brain tells me that it is an attack, so it's another attack after another attack. So parang sobrang napapagod na ako, so I stopped going to the gym at that time. I cannot even take a shower without
Wow.
yeah, I cannot even take a shower without having someone to watch over me outside the shower
Mhm.
kasi I feel like I'm gonna drown for some
Mhm.
reason. I don't know. Like I cannot breathe talaga every time I'm alone, literally.
Mhm.
And I cannot see a doctor or specialists without having an attack as well. So and so for someone who was able to live independently in New York for years,
Mhm.
abroad, and not be with your family, for someone very independent, and for someone who gave birth and never had a yaya with her, alam mo
Mhm.
yun, I've lived alone for a long time. I mean, I've lived independently with my husband too when I had a family. My husband is my companion, but then when he's not around, I'm able to live alone. So I can't believe that what was happening to me of all of a sudden I needed a yaya or someone to watch over me.
Yeah. Mhm.
Sobrang frustrating at that time. I didn't know who I was at that time. And so the path to healing, what was
Yes,
the
that's the
things I
good
did?
part.
Yeah.
The path to healing.
The path to healing. How did I ask for help? I asked for help kasi I started not sleeping at all anymore. And and it is a scary thing pag hindi ka na natutulog. It's a scary thing pala. Akala mo parang pag 1 day, 2 days ka hindi nakatulog, parang okay lang. But when it starts to be frequent and too long for you not to sleep, that is really scary. And since I couldn't sleep na nga for 1 week, I had to really seek medical professional help. First, from a psychiatrist. I
Mm.
was only confident enough to go to a psychiatrist at that time because one of my friends told me that this psychiatrist she referred me to that psychiatrist, and she said that that psychiatrist is the son of the father of psychologist in the Philippines.
Mm.
And and I had to list down questions in my mind kasi I am afraid of the medication. I think
Me too.
every
Yeah.
yeah, I think everybody who would who would be given a brain medication would really think not just twice but 3 times, but more. Kaya I really had so many questions kasi it's really scary to take medications. And
Is this hardcore, like the yellow form stuff, like Rivotril, like or even
uh,
more
I
intense?
you have to the medications are basically on trial kasi
Okay,
per
okay.
medication is really it has to really coordinate well with your body too.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried one medication, and it really was not a good medication for me. I had to really stop the medication. But
For sleep, though.
but the second one
Mm-hmm.
was a perfect match for me. Perfect match.
Okay.
Talagang nakatulog na ako, and it's a journey. For the medication alone is also a journey. And the doctor also bukod sa since I'm already taking the medication, the doctor also asked me to see a psychologist to help me manage the attacks. And thankfully, one of my dear friends recommended me to go to Cefam. Have you heard of Cefam?
Parang familiar. Kasi
Yeah.
psychologists are people who you talk to, diba?
Yes.
Parang they'll ask you questions and
Mm-hmm.
they do like cognitive therapy or I don't know, stuff like that.
Yes,
CBT.
and Cefam is actually the one located in inside Ateneo, and it's called
Mm.
Center for Family Ministries.
Mm-hmm.
They practice counseling through psycho spiritual approach. They also coordinate with psychologists to help them deal with
Mm-hmm.
their counseling in a deeper and scientific level too. So they don't just go for spiritual approach. They basically go through with you the perfect way. Like I didn't even have to go to a psychologist talaga. I just
Oh, okay.
yeah, and then for people who are saving money, CFAM is actually just for donation based. So the
Mm-hmm.
minimum donation you can give them is 500 per session. So if you're saving money and you don't have the money to go for a psychologist, because I believe psychologist costs a lot, diba,
Yeah,
per
yeah.
session.
More
So
expensive.
yeah, so this one is really a good one. And to be honest, I would really recommend it to anybody. Kasi imagine what I've gone through, and now where I am, I'm already able to walk alone, be alone, and I'm driving back once again.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
so
driving once
cool.
again. Like I can drive again already without the attack. Because before, the minute I entered the car, just be in the front seat alone or in just in the middle part of the car, I would really, really have the attack. Like for no reason at all, I would really have the attack. And in that moment, ako akala ko talaga ganito na lang ba buhay ko everyday. But
How long was that? The process?
the
Like, was it a
process,
year or something, or
it was a year. It was
a
a year.
year? Wow.
And the doctor told me that, because I have a lot of questions, because when you're medicating, the attacks doesn't just go away right away in one medication. So,
Mm.
and here's how he explained it to me. Tayo daw, pag sa physical body natin, pag ginagamot ang physical body natin, in one medication or 1 week of medication, you're good. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, your body responds right away. It is
Yeah.
different when it is our mental health that is affected. So when it is being treated, when our mental health is being treated, it is it is hard. It is a hard process. It is hard for your brain to follow, because it is our brain is really a system, of our it's the system of our body. So,
Yeah.
and it takes a while for your body to really be depressed. So meaning, before you even got depressed, there's a bunch of reasons before it.
Mm.
So through counseling therapy, I was able to find out what and how I got the panic attacks and depression. So
Wow. Did,
yeah,
did they explain it? Like, parang in a
yeah,
simple way? Like, it was a
yes,
build up or ano?
it was a build up. Hold on, I actually wrote something.
Your
I'll
notes.
I'll read it for you. Okay. So I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know that when you wait, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first, I it basic depression sometimes comes from how you were um nurtured, as basically.
Okay.
I with me bukod sa I'm going through the uh, bereavement stage. There's really what we call a bereavement stage when we lose a loved one. It's really a process, and it's also part of depression. So bukod doon, I have that already. I also what we found out is the experience that I had, a traumatic experience that I had experienced in New York, that I didn't even tell anybody,
Mm-hmm.
was the root cause. The root
What was
cause.
that? So it wasn't the loss of
It
your mom.
it wasn't. I mean, it's just an additional. Losing a loved one is an additional part of depression. My depression, but the
Mhm.
root
The
cause
root.
was from the traumatic experience I had in New York.
Okay.
It was This traumatic experience was not something I can talk to easily to anybody, because that was done to me. What was done to me isn't something you tell someone on a regular day. But I thought because I'm religious and I believe in the power of God, that I will be saved from any adversities that it may affect me. I hid
Mm-hmm.
it. I hid it alone, and I didn't even tell anybody about it. Um, and how do I say this? So since it is not something that you can tell anybody, I hid it. So,
Mm.
but it was ang explanation kasi ng counselor ko was, it was natabunan na masasayang memories.
Mm.
Yeah, so parang since natabunan siya ng masasayang memories, nakalimutan siya ng isip ko, but it got stuck in your subconscious mind.
Okay.
The thing is, I had experienced during that time na natatabunan siya ng magagandang memories. I was experiencing um, nightmares. Nightmares na paulit-ulit for 4 years since that incident happened. So I didn't know na yung palang nightmares na yun, na paulit-ulit, I should have seeked help na. I should have
Okay.
se- I should have seeked help, but then I didn't know, so I didn't consider telling anybody. And so since it was hidden, and that traumatic experience was done to me by someone who was supposed to give me security,
Mm-hmm.
love, protection, that was stripped away from me, basically.
Yeah.
So what happened was, that was the root cause of my anxiety.
Mm.
The fear that it had led me to insecurity, protection. Basically, I didn't trust people right away. Like, I don't trust people anymore. So,
Wow.
unti-unti yon, hindi yun parang biglaan. And then anger had built up in my heart as well, because
Mm-hmm.
during those nightmares, it reminds me of the attack. So it reminds me of the traumatic experience. So it basically built up my anger, kasi why am I remembering this all the time when I don't want to anymore? Like, this person has done this to me, and no matter how hard I try, it's not going away. Like, how? Like, parang hindi ko alam kung paano i-handle yon. And then, it resulted to anger inside, and I didn't know na it was building up. And so, when the time that my serotonin level went down and depleted in a very bad way, kasi I experienced the bereavement stage na nga. That
Mm-hmm.
is when the panic attacks really happen. So when our brain is our serotonin is not our yeah, our brain is not producing serotonin levels, or the hormone for happy hormones.
Yeah.
Um, because you were experiencing depression, um, and once it depletes more and depletes and depletes, anxiety becomes very strong. So the
Mm-hmm.
attacks becomes very strong. The fight and flight response of your brain is really strong as well. So it's not something that you can handle anymore. And that is when anxiety and depression happens talaga. And that
Did
is
they give? Okay, that wow. Like I took a lot of notes, no. So did they, no, give a tip or an answer, advice? Because serotonin, and say it however you want, that the happy hormone.
mm-hmm.
I think the opposite is like cortisol, like stress. It's the stress
Yeah,
hormone,
yeah,
like
yeah.
when you're fighting the fight or flight. So if that's if the stress hormone is overloaded naman because of anger, trauma, did they give advice or tips like how do you balance that shit, diba? Parang, or else you're
There's
gonna keep living in fear, diba? Or
exactly,
anxiety.
exactly. So, well, this is when the medication has to happen.
Okay.
Kasi it is not something that we can really handle anymore. If you've reached that stage, you really have to seek help. And
Okay.
of course, if you don't really want to take the medication, if you can manage having the attacks all day, it's fine. I mean, it's really up to you if you don't want to take
Medyo
medication.
wild yun, ah.
Yeah, it's really wild. I had
Oh.
to have a lot of questions to be answered by the doctor para mas maging confident ako to take the medication alone. But
Mhm.
yeah, it really helped me. And there's a lot of people who didn't really take the medication, and they just did this process, and it went through smoothly. Kaya lang, syempre, hindi ganun ka bilis yung paggaling. Like, hindi ganun ka smooth sailing yung journey of healing talaga. But it's a it's something you should do every day. And this is what I'm gonna tell you pala. The
Yeah.
first, second, third, and fourth steps I did, and what the counselor told me to do. So the first, The first
Okay,
thing is,
step.
what are your acts? He asked me of what are my acts of disgraces, of ungraciousness to myself. And what I remember putting down was, um, whenever I feel or remember the trauma that was done to me, I would constantly tell myself to just not remember the memory, or just shut down the memory of it. I would really say, I want to die. And I'm
Mm,
sorry, but this is really what I would tell myself, because, but not because I want to die, but it's just because I want the memory to shut down in my mind,
mm,
because it's really traumatic. There's a reason why it's called traumatic. It's not something you want to remember. So when I remembered it, whenever I remember that, I would tell myself, I want to shut down. I want it to be gone, like that. So I would say stupid things about myself, like I'm stupid. I should have done this. I should have done that. Ganon. But those are
mm,
the acts of ungraciousness that also had helped my depression. Like, it had built up my depression. Kasi what you tell yourself is really important. Even if you don't utter it, like you don't say it out loud, and you say it to yourself, those are the things that's important. Because
okay.
what I found out through meditation is that when you say bad things to yourself, you create depression. Do you
Mm,
agree on that? Yeah, that's true. So so that's a part of me that I had to change. So first, what I did is I became aware of the times that I would tell that to myself. And whenever I tell that to myself, I stop, and then take a pause, and then think of something better to say to yourself, like, I am okay. I'm doing well. Like, instead of saying I am mad, or I don't want to remember that, or I want to die. Instead of saying those stuff, you say the other way around. You say it the other way around, like, you're you're better now. You're living a happy life. And since
mm.
then, medyo nagbago-bago yung mood ko din eventually. So hindi na siya depressive, 'di ba? So the first part is that. Second, my counselor asked me to watch the sunrise in the morning and
Wow.
contemplate. Yeah, in the morning. But I remember I told you I wait. There was a time when the depression really hit me hard, that I would wake up every day feeling so scared for nothing at all. Like, I would really feel so scared and sad. And the scary part is that you really don't want to wake up anymore. Like, you don't want to wake up to that anymore. But that
Mm-hmm.
was a hard thing to do. What he's asking me to do was really hard for me, because I would have to wake up early, and waking up to that, when the sun is not out yet and it's still dim, it feels even more depressive. So, like, I have to
Mm-hmm.
wait for the sun to rise. But what taught me that, on that moment, watching the sunrise, I had to really push myself, to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also another step to healing. If you there are steps out there, and it's laid out on you already. You just have to do it, even if it's hard, even if it will take so much of your energy to really do something, a simple step. You have to do it. And that is what we call discipline. Kasi at that time, we don't have the when you're in the depressive state, you don't have the eagerness to do things, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Um,
So,
I can relate.
but one thing that you should have is discipline. You don't have to like what you're doing. You just have to do it. and the
Mm.
motivation isn't there, but the discipline should be there. So in the morning I had to wake myself up and watch the sunrise. And you know what it taught me?
Mm-hmm. What did it teach you?
Yeah, it taught me that in the darkness comes the light.
Ooh.
And it's deep, right? Like it might be just one
Yeah, yeah.
sentence, but it's
That's like
really deep.
figurative, no? Pero you can feel it. In
Yeah,
the
like
darkness comes the light.
yes, and it has a big impact on me na wait, akala ko, yeah, it's just a reminder that this is just a phase. This will just be a season in your life. And you shouldn't consider it as a bad
Ah.
experience. Yes, and you don't have to get stuck in there. You
Mhm.
just have to do it. Like do something about it. So
Athena,
what?
parang your emotions nagigigil. Can I take like a one
Yeah.
minute break? I'm gonna piss super quick lang.
Yeah, yeah. Oh.
Unfiltered. And then when I get back, we're in step two, I think, of your four steps.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll get back to the notes then. Super quick. I'll just take the bathrooms right here. So
Yeah.
parang
Okay,
have
ako
a
din.
breather lang.
Yeah. Thank you. Already what?
Whew. And we're back. Thank you to the very patient viewer. The topic is deep, no? Pero I am
Yeah.
learning a lot. I'm learning a lot. So your experience is actually very different from mine, no? Yung depression, anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So last thing you mentioned was all you have to do is just follow the steps, have discipline.
Uh-huh.
First step was what are my acts of ungraciousness to myself? So I could relate to that. My self talk is usually very self deprecating. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a piece of shit, diba? Like, I'm
Yeah,
nothing.
those
I,
stuff.
I don't know where the hell I learned that. But then,
Me too. Me too.
I mean,
But being in a depressive state, you don't have to be really so bad about yourself. That we all do it unintentionally. Like we're
mm,
not really aware that it's bad at all.
yeah, sometimes we think it makes us better, like parang
Yes.
work harder. So
Mm-hmm.
you said instead of saying that, no, parang say I'm better now.
Mm-hmm.
So usually when people ask how I am, I say fighting the good fight, healing, getting better, working on getting better. The
Mm-hmm.
second step you said is watch the sunrise in the morning. I'm not a morning person, no. So
Me
parang
too. No, me too.
vampire, no, parang stay up until 4 a.m. Ganon. So you said the thing it taught you was in the darkness comes the light. So did you like just feel that? Parang when you saw the sun coming up, you're like, oh, I feel like this is gonna go away. Something like that. Or was it after like 1 week or 1 month of always watching the sunrise?
Siguro after watching the sunrise for like a week, I guess, na-realize ko
Mm-hmm.
kasi 'di ba, I'm when you wake up, you're in a depressive mood talaga eh. When you're in
Yeah.
your depression, you're waking up to a depressive mood. So basically, nothing would really cheer you up. Anything you do, even if you exercise, doesn't really help. Even for 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 my depression at that time, huh?
Yeah,
Because
I could relate. I just
yeah,
exercised this morning. I
yeah,
have
but
more
it doesn't.
energy, but but I still feel kind of
Down.
fucked up.
You still feel down, right? Like there's
Yeah,
that
like,
feeling of being down. Like there's
yeah,
no
why am I
reason
not
at all,
okay?
but you still feel it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that had taught me that I won't be in that state for a long time. That there will be a point that I will wake up to that, and my body or brain will follow through. Like, because when you're having the attacks, it makes you think that it's you, but it's really not you. Like, it's not really you who's fearful or sad. Like, it's not really you. There's a deeper sense of you that should tell your brain that, hey, that's not you, that's just your feeling, because that's what you're feeling, because that's what happened, this is what happened to you, and this is that, this and that. But there should be a part of you that will tell you to wake up or do this,
Mm.
discipline yourself. And you should there's this is also the time when I realized that my brain is different from my mind. Like, my sense of being is different from my brain. Like, the brain can tell your body to do stuff, but like the attacks, the panic attacks, the depression and stuff, it can tell you to
Mhm.
do that. But you are different from your brain. There's two things. Like, there should be a separation between the two.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you say your mind, that means you.
You.
Parang that's the you part. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your mind, as in you. All right. So that's the second step. You said there were four
Yeah.
steps.
The third one.
Third
Wait,
one.
hold on. The third one I did was, since I went through a traumatic event, and that's the root cause of the panic attacks and anxiety. I had to let go of my anger, and forgiving is another thing that I had to practice. But
Mm-hmm.
but you have to remember that what was done to me was unforgivable. So it is
Mm-hmm.
not something that you want to give, right? When
How did
what
you
would
do it? Parang if it what was done was unforgivable.
Yeah,
Parang how did you do it?
I actually thought that it is not something you can do, kasi
Mm-hmm.
what was done to you was unforgivable, it is unspeakable.
Mm-hmm.
um But, my counselor gave me a session, a forgiving session, actually. It was something I've been waiting for as well. Kasi I don't know how eh. Kasi how will I do that when it is not something that you can give? But
Mm-hmm.
I've given up na eh. Like, I've succumbed to the anxiety attacks, the panic attacks was really extreme to me, to a point it has taken away my life already. So what, I'll give everything, I'd give everything to get my life back.
Mm-hmm.
So, and since that one of the keys is to let go of my anger,
Ah, okay.
how do I do that? So what my counselor had told me to do was, first he explained that forgiveness isn't an emotion. Like, it is you we should detach forgiveness in emotion.
Okay.
Like, it should be emotionless. Like,
Okay.
it's hard to think, but okay, like, you'll just follow through. Like, okay, what's
That
next? So what's
that
next to
makes more
that?
sense actually. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
next thing is that he asked me to write down the people who had done me wrong, or the person who had done me the traumatic experience. And imagine that you're talking to that person. in front of you. There's an
Mhm.
imaginary person in front of you, and that's the person. That's that person.
Mhm.
Imagine telling him or her that what made you mad. What was what's what's the anger all about, and what do you want to tell that person? And then once you've said everything, it's an emotional process, ha. It's really an emotional blow as well to someone who had
Okay.
experienced traumatic experience, especially if it's an abuse. It is something that it's hard to do, to be honest. But you do it not because you want to free to free that person, but you want to create freedom within yourself, to free yourself
Mm.
from anger, to free yourself from negativity, to free yourself from pain, to free yourself from depression and all the negatives that it creates within you. So you're basically not doing it because you want to forgive that person, but or you want to make that person free of charge. You know what I mean? But you're
Yeah,
doing this for yourself. So
for
you have to think,
yourself, your own freedom.
for your freedom. So you're when I said that, everything that I want to say to that person, everything hurtful, I can tell that person. You know what I mean? Like I can tell that person that how mad I am and how hurtful it is to be in that situation that he created upon you, ganon.
Yeah.
Once I've let that words go, you eventually say, I forgive you.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but before when it was happening, my body is shaking. Literally, like shaking. It's
As
literally,
in, yeah.
yeah, like
Literally, yeah.
physically I'm shaking. I'm shook to the core, basically, kasi it's not something you would say every day, and it's not something that I want to do, basically.
Yeah.
But I had to because it's affecting my life already. It's affecting my my system. And before, because it's not something you can talk about, I would really shake every time it is mentioned. Like if every like right now, seeing me right now talking about it is something really. If you've seen me before, you will
Yeah.
seeing a different Athena right now. Because
Yeah.
right now I can speak like I'm okay, like I'm okay with it. Like although I cannot tell the exact reason, but I can say it na okay, this happened to me and I'm okay na. Like um I don't feel that anger anymore after that session. I don't feel the effect in my body every time I mention this anymore. And it's really a
Mm-hmm.
big thing. Like, letting go is really a big thing. Like you don't and it's just that easy. Like you can fake it until you make it. That's the idea, right?
Yeah.
Did you get like you don't really have to feel that you really want to forgive that person, but you just have to say it.
Mm.
Like
But you mentioned there was an emotional process. Parang
yeah.
you really had to feel it and release it or something like that.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. But the words really releases you through that too because you're saying it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
As
and
in you're
even
really verbally saying it, like
yeah,
parang naka
you're saying
blindfold ka or something like that.
yes, yes. So my counselor was in front of me while I'm talking. You know what I
Wild.
mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was crying the whole time because it's something that's not you say every day on a regular basis.
Did
So
you like did you slap him or something or
no, no.
okay, so you're just okay, you're saying it,
I no, I was just saying the stuff I want to say so that
which is even
um
harder, yeah. Parang
mhm.
so that you said
The idea
they were
basically, but did you get the idea? The idea is basically it's
mm-hmm.
like we're extracting that scenario out of your subconscious mind so that it's out there any already. You know what I mean? Like,
Wild.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's the same thing with the idea of writing it down
Yeah.
and then burning it, burning
Mm.
the paper. It's the same thing. It's the same idea.
Okay.
And if I had known this before, I wouldn't have to go through panic attacks. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have gone through that. But the thing is, there's a lot of people who were abused and are not are not out in the open, but there's a reason for it because it's not something you can tell every day. You know, it's not something
Correct.
people would want to say to everyone. Like it's not something that is easy to tell, right?
Correct. And thank you for this live, because
Mm-hmm.
if someone watches this, maybe she or maybe he, diba? Like again,
Mm-hmm.
whoever
Mm-hmm.
you are, no, LGBTQIA, no, like
Yes.
it. I am learning, no. You could correct me if I'm misunderstanding this. It's like
Mm-hmm.
if the person doesn't do what you did, like parang to let it out, it's
Mm-hmm.
like poison inside.
Yes,
Like,
yes, that's true. That's true.
and what you were sharing, it's like you were shaking and stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
had maybe two vivid panic attacks. As in I had to pull over.
Uh-huh.
My body like went rigor mortis. It was like tightening. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt weird, like parang there was liquid salt going up my spinal cord. There was some really weird feeling. And I felt like doom. Like the feeling of impending doom, like I was gonna die or something.
Mm-hmm.
It happened like two times. And then
Oh.
off the record, I just asked this doctor in Asian hospital, like he said similar things. He said it's gonna become more frequent. It's gonna happen again.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was kind of fortunate. I don't know if I detached from the triggers or whatever. I won't go deep into that. But the stuff that you're saying here, no, like maybe you're also a living example of, because you said here the forgiveness or to free yourself. You did it verbally with your
Mm-hmm.
counselor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if someone does it through burning the paper and it works for them. Parang, for me, it didn't really work that method, but for some, maybe it did.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you're doing now, I hope someone gets some idea or help that's also
Mm-hmm.
effective for them. Because like
Yes.
I don't want to see people stuck. Like that's also
Yes.
why I'm
Yes.
doing this. Diba? But like
Yeah, and it's
I did the work
mm-hmm.
like you, but like I did the work Achievers Cup. I don't know how the hell they did that. MDRT for 3 years. Then
You're
I felt
good.
called out. You could have done it too. Like if you followed mentors. Like I followed my dad, like a mentor, to get the
Mm-hmm.
insights. But then again, no, I would share the info freely. Diba, with you, with people in the mentoring team.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you find something like this, like what you're sharing, and it could save a person's life. For me, even though they won't pay you 1 million for that,
Yes,
I
yes.
think it's equally valuable. Diba? Parang,
Yes,
why
and
would I
that's
want,
that's really
diba?
why I'm free. I'm freely talking about this is because I don't want people who have been abused or people who have been in a traumatic experience to experience what I have had to experience because it's really hard to be blown that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you were the ones who were treated badly and then you have to experience that. That's really worst. Like that's the worst part
I
of it.
I have a question. And
Hard
you,
for me to understand at that time too, you know.
I have a question, and it's related to your third step, that yung
Mm-hmm.
traumatic event root cause. You don't have to open up if you don't feel like saying anymore now.
Mm-hmm.
So this one for me potentially could have like become really bad. But I think it was in 2017 and
Mm-hmm.
then I went on a trip. Parang it was Korea, I sorry, New Zealand, something like that. And
Uh-huh.
then a month or two after that trip, it was a chain of events. this is hard for me to share. I'll just try to share it the best way I
Mm-hmm.
can.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I share, I don't want to put other people down or
Yeah.
destroy people. No.
Mm-hmm.
So on the last day of that New Zealand trip, they segregated the roommates, two people per room. So they won't put me in a room with a girl. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
guys, girls, that. So on the last day, this person, the guy, goes in my bed
Mm-hmm.
and he says, parang, nakatry ka na ba? And he's just in his underwear, like some tight
Mm-hmm.
boxers pa. And I'm straight, so again, nothing against
Mm-hmm.
whatever your orientation is and all. But then I felt very uncomfortable.
Yes,
So I
yes.
had
Oh.
to walk out, go to the bathroom, excuse myself to the bathroom.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I ended up just leaving the room and sitting in the hallway from like 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Parang just
Oh.
naka-fetal position in the hallway. I don't want to go
Uh-huh.
back to that. I don't know how to
Yes.
handle it.
You're traumatized, you know.
Oh,
That's a part. Did you know that it left you a post traumatic stress?
yeah, it could
It
because
did.
I would see that person pa rin in work at
Oh.
time. So that's hard. And then this one, mga 2 months after, it was a
Mm-hmm.
chain of events. I was here in Alabang, parang second floor, the country club. Took a
Mm-hmm.
piss, mga
Mm-hmm.
6, 7 p.m., all alone
Mm-hmm.
in the bathroom. I decided to use the urinal. I normally use the cubicle, I lock the door. Pero
Oh.
no people. A guy goes to
Mm-hmm.
the urinal next to me, and he like looks down at my thing. So it's weird. Parang walang personal space. So I'm
Yes,
like,
yes.
I put up my clothes, like that. Tapos
Mm-hmm.
the guy reaches down and he grabs it, as in talagang gumanon siya, as in
Oh,
like that. As in he
yeah,
went
that's
like
sexual
that.
abuse, you know. Uh-huh.
Sexual, yeah, it's like sexual assault abuse, no.
Yes.
Now this is the twisted thing, ah. The guy was 12 years old.
Oh my God, that's so
Like
young.
like halata he's young, but parang he can
No,
think of
but
stuff like
for
that.
him to do that at such a young age, that's
Correct. So
really.
that messed me up, because in a split second I felt like bashing his head in the urinal or on the marble sink.
Mm-hmm.
And the split second after, the voice in my head said, "Martin, walk away,
Walk away, yeah.
walk away." So I did, but the messed up thing was that guy followed me all the way down to the lobby. Even like when I
Mm.
was with the security guard. So why am I sharing that now? I was
Mm-hmm.
able to call someone from the office.
Mm-hmm.
So one was a guy friend. He just laughed. The other one was an office mate, and he was more understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he got it. Again, no, parang if you're like Becky or something,
Mm-hmm.
like he kind of understood. So
Mm-hmm.
I was able to, like you said, parang free myself or at least be able to talk about it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
It helped,
No,
but
it
I'm not
helps you know that you're opening about it because it releases some. It has some form of release for you. You know
correct.
when you
Now
say
here's
it.
the thing. I'm not saying that, we, everyone's gonna be all right. No, I saw
No.
that same boy because it apparently he serves like in the church here. Apparently he's
Mm.
like an altar boy, and
And
that's not
maybe
what
someone's
messed me
doing
up.
that to him there. You know.
Yep, lumapit siya uli sa akin
Oh,
as if nothing happened.
and
So I'm like, dude, like, are you gonna do it again? Like,
hmm.
man, like that's messing with my head, diba?
Like yes, yes. Oh.
That happened again like 2, 3 years ago, something like that, diba? So I don't know what you went through, but like I had to talk about it helped a lot. If you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about PTSD like that,
Mm-hmm.
but then to overcome it, diba? Parang do you have like a fourth step or something? Parang
Yeah, I have a fourth step,
how the hell
you
do you?
but with the PTSD, what
Mm-hmm.
helped me is that
Yeah.
I really cut ties. Like I cut ties from those
Cut
people,
ties.
from people who had from people connected to that person. That person alone was already out of my life for a long time already, and the people related to that person is also not a part of my life anymore, and it had helped me a lot. It helps you, it helps us to keep that boundary. Like, I mean, it's okay to have that wall for some time.
Keep that
And
boundary. Yeah.
yeah, keep that boundary for yourself, to protect yourself, and to protect other people as well. Like, boys like you, like, who could be a victim of that boy as well, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, I didn't know how to handle that because if I just reported him and to
mhm.
his father, diba, what will his father say to me, diba?
Yes,
Diba,
see, that's
ano yung
the hard part.
sinasabi mo
And
sa
as a
anak
guy,
ko?
no, I think
Bakla?
that's the hard part.
And
As a
then
guy,
who will the father believe? His own
yes.
son or me, diba?
Oh,
So that
oh,
that was really hard. Like again,
oh.
I think I'm sharing that not for gossip or intriga. Like
Uh-huh.
there are people who go through maybe more messed up or twisted things,
Yes.
diba? I just
Oh.
want to honor their truth and like what's the best way to handle it, diba? So you said diba, cut the ties first.
Mhm.
Maybe that
Cut the
person
ties.
it
Yes.
it'll
Oh.
take time for them to fix themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully
And
it helps
stay
keep
away
the
from that.
boundary.
Stay away from that person. Like, um, well, as for you, I don't really know how, but since he's not really a part of your circle, right? He's not
Yeah,
really a part
yeah.
of your circle. Since he's not really a part of your circle, what you could do is just really stay away from him, like,
Mm-hmm.
or warn other guys like you or your friends, like, who could be a part of his circle. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
guys who could be a part of his circle, just by saying it, you are protecting them as well, because
correct. Yeah.
they're gonna be protective about themselves too. And it's not
Siguro
about
some
destroying that person's personality or what, but the thing is, you're protecting before you say that. Maybe what you could do is say that, um I don't want this to happen to you. This is why I'm telling this.
mm,
This is my way of protecting other people, because this happened to me, and I don't want other guys like me who cannot. I mean, yes, it's something that is laughable within male group. Like, it's
yeah, correct.
other,
Yeah.
other guys would just laugh at you because of that, right? And
Yeah, it's
you just
one
mentioned
guy
one,
didn't
and
yeah,
it
he didn't
just
take it
laughed.
seriously. Like for
Yeah,
me
but
it was kind of
yeah,
serious, but
for others it is something serious, and for you it is serious that you cannot even the fact that you cannot even say that without feeling that you can get stereotyped. You know what I mean?
mhm. And I felt helpless. Like parang
Yes. Oh.
so yeah, there's a
So yeah,
lot of things there like
if
just going on. So
yeah, if well, the thing is, if you could protect other people or other guys in this with the same circle as he is, then that's another thing you could do.
did they a quick question lang is did they
Mhm.
teach you how to handle the other person? Because what I learned is usually that person they
Mm-hmm.
have their own trauma. So that's why they're like doing that to you. So I shared
Mm-hmm.
mine, diba? So it made me understand maybe that kid, somebody abused that kid. Or
Oh.
it's harder to understand like this person I'm learning from David Goggins. His dad beat him up when he was a kid, and only later on he discovered that his dad was also beaten up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a generational thing.
With
So
the thing is, with those things, it depends on the the depth of abuse. Like with that, if the father is physically abusive, that is something that could be forgivable. Like, you know, like if if the father is also asking for forgiveness, it is
Oh,
something
okay, okay,
forgivable.
gets.
But if it is something that you know naman, then the difference is like if it's sexual abuse, it's not something you could forgive. Like it's not something that you have to talk to that person because oh you owe me an apology and stuff. It's not something like that. So um in terms of uh those stuff, like I think the best way is to really talk to a professional like a psychologist, you know,
Mm.
to help them deal with how, kasi it depends eh. Like with mine, I had to cut my ties. Like I really didn't have to talk to that person anymore. Like
Mm-hmm.
um he that person is far away from me already. So
Yeah,
it's easy. It's easier for my on my side, but on other people it's hard because they live within the same house, you know.
yeah, that,
So
damn,
yeah.
that made me understand something right now. Like,
Mm-mm.
I don't, this is, parang I'm incriminating myself, no? I don't know if that's why my ex left me, no? Because
Why?
I don't know if I did something that traumatic to her, but parang she really did cut ties, eh. Like, totally.
um with
So,
relationships naman, I think it's just, you know, maybe it's really just not meant to be, you know. It's just really you're
mm,
just really, and then not everyone who in a relationship, you know, would really, or if they say, if there are people who can be friends after, but there are people who are really just not
okay,
meant to be
thank you for
friends.
clarifying. Parang I
Yeah.
felt guilt, eh. But your sharing was more on trauma and like
Uh-huh.
talagang abuse, eh, diba?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, yung unforgivable act.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's a difference naman.
There's a yes. Mm-hmm.
So,
So let's
ito, yeah, with the flow lang
yes.
at the time. You said there
Mm-hmm.
were four steps that helped
Uh,
you. The first one was, what are my acts of ungraciousness to myself? Second
mm-hmm,
one was, watch the sunrise in the morning. Third was, the traumatic event or root cause you had to let go. The
mm-hmm,
anger, to forgive,
mm-hmm.
to free yourself. So the fourth one, there's a fourth step.
Yeah. So the fourth step is meditation. So
Oh,
we have meditation, but with again, like with all the four steps, this is not something you should do just one time. You do this over and over and over. It's not something
mm,
you could, you know, oh, I can let go in just one forgiving, like in just one session. I have to also repeat that to me
mm-hmm,
every time I would remember my anger. Like it's not something, it's not a one time deal. It's something you have to do it every every day or every, with the forgiving, I guess you could do that if you only remember that your anger and stuff. But if you don't, it's okay. No need to repeat it.
the
With,
process. Okay.
yeah, the process. But the acts of ungraciousness, you do that every time. You constantly have to check yourself. Second,
Mm,
if you feel like you've already appreciated it, and if there's another benefit for watching the sunrise for you, which is, um, you know, the sunlight to our body has an effect as well, like to our mental health as well. It's just that I don't
mm-hmm.
really
Very.
know how, but there's, I don't really know how the scientific way or to say it, but there's an effect for our body and our mental health. As
Mm-hmm.
the sun reaches our skin, it has a great effect. But you have to look it through on Google. But there's, I have to also send you a 10 way of by Dr. John something. Dr. John something. I forgot the last name. It's a ten ways to improve your uh uh BDNF. BDNF. Could you
Brain-derived
define it?
neurotropic factor. Wow, how do I know that?
Wait, I know.
BDNF.
You know better than I do. But yeah, so
That's
please write
what's
it
produced
down.
after you exercise, I think. Parang
Yes.
it's the chemical in
Mhm.
your brain.
Yes, that's the chemical in your brain that makes your brain cells much healthier.
Mm.
So that's also another thing that we lose when we have depression. So that's
Ah.
one. But could we note it down? We have to really discuss this as well. Kasi there's a 10 way by Dr. John something. I forgot the last name, but I have to research about it as well so that I
Mhm.
could we could enumerate it because
Is it
I
related
also
to sunlight or exercise or anything?
it is related to our mental health, like our
Okay.
mental health, physical health as well. But yeah, we have to do that too because it's really important for mental health. But yeah, so the fourth one is meditation. So the meditation in before, when I was told to do meditation, I couldn't because my I have extreme attacks at that time that even yoga doesn't that makes me anxious. Like a
Mm.
second of peace makes me anxious talaga. So it's really something that you could only do if you're at peace. So and it's also one thing that that I regret not doing right away. Kasi
Meditation.
yeah, yeah, if I had just listened and um practiced
Mhm.
it with discipline, I was
Yeah.
if only I had done it ahead of time during the time the bad panic attacks and all that, it would have helped it would have helped me more.
By the way,
But
what kind of meditation is this? If yoga wasn't working, you still felt anxious. Like, what
mhm.
kind of meditation was effective or what worked for you?
So with the meditation, I follow Boho Beautiful in YouTube channel. I have to send it to you as well. But there's three steps in meditation. So basically,
Hmm.
first is, let me just look for my notes about it.
Hmm. While you're looking for the notes, is that like a guided meditation with you're just listening to something or breathing? Parang.
Martin, meron lang nag-doorbell. Hold on for a second, ha?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Sorry, sorry.
I'll recap lang. While Athena gets the doorbell. So, four steps to help with the anxiety, panic attacks, and depression. One, what are my acts of ungraciousness to myself? Step two, watch the sunrise in the morning. Step three, get to the traumatic event or the root cause, and then let go of it. Step four is meditation, where we're at right now.
Okay, now I'm gonna look for the one I wrote for meditation. Para medyo meron lang konting pointers for meditation.
Mhm.
Where is it now?
So this is the meditation you've been doing that
Yes,
works for
um,
you. I said yoga, other stuff wasn't effective for you.
yes. But yoga has been a great help eventually. Kasi because of this pandemic, I was able to practice, and since I've become better naman after a year or so, dun ko palang na-feel yung benefits ng yoga. Na I had done it for a whole month and everything changed talaga. For
Is this Bikram or
no,
Ashtanga
any
or hot
just
yoga? Parang?
just the basic yoga, like the
Okay.
basics of yoga. You just do it the basic ones, and you'll feel the benefit afterwards. Like I do it at night and in the morning. So my how do I say it? I practice it as a routine every morning and at night. So after a month, everything changed. Na yung mga minimal na anxieties na nafe-feel ko on a daily basis, I've never felt anything anymore. Like, I don't feel anxious pag bababa sa papunta sa lalabas. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, I don't have the panic attacks anymore. Like, it's just a memory, but it's not there anymore. Like, your body may remember it, but your body doesn't feel it anymore. It doesn't
Did
make
the
sense.
did the yoga help because of meditation or
Yes,
releasing or
together.
the BDNF or the
For the
physical or
BDNF too, like it
okay,
comes,
okay, okay.
yeah,
A lot of
it
stuff.
promotes BDNF, everything. Parang everything flows talaga through meditation. And in meditation, there's two, hold on, let me see where is it? I
The
thought it,
meditation that worked for you. Parang 3 steps or something.
oh. The first is wait, hold on. Ito. There's three steps eh. Hold on, let me just look for the three.
Wow.
Actually enrolled myself from an online course for meditation pa talaga. Kasi just so I could maximize my learnings and maximize the practice of meditation. So the first step is the relaxation phase. So we're in the key step to that is the breathing technique. So the key to meditation is the breathing technique. So when you can only relax through the deep breathing method. So once na pinabagal mo na yung hinga mo, and then you close your eyes and then you focus on being on meditating, that's the
Mhm.
first step. The second step to meditation is intention phase, wherein what is your intention for the meditation. So
Mm.
it depends. So if you want to be happy, or if you want to create happiness, or create happy hormones for your brain, you can do that as a mantra. Like, um, I am I am joyful, I am at peace, I am loved. So you just continue to repeat that mantra for the intention phase until you reach the return phase, wherein
The third
um,
one.
the third phase is the return phase,
Return. Okay.
which in you bring your awareness once again to your surroundings, and then you slowly thank yourself after that, because that's part of self care. That's a part of self-care. What you did was a part of self-care. So basically, you thank yourself for doing that, and it creates gratitude. It creates
Ah.
yeah, I think I've read that on your posts as well, Martin. I think you know what gratitude means in depression as well, right? What?
Yeah, the counting my blessings I write. I had no idea that was called gratitude journaling.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, parang for me, I don't know where the hell I learned that from. Baka Miss Shy, for all I know. Diba? Counting my blessings. I don't know, no? I'll give credit where it is due, diba? So, I mean, I just experimented with that for 2 years now, or three. I don't know.
That's a
Every
good
day, no?
way. Mm-hmm. That's a good way.
And you mentioned discipline earlier. I'll just connect that to your lesson. Yours, I think, was
Yes.
the sunrise. For
Yes.
me, I count my blessings every day. So far,
Mm-hmm.
for 1, 2, or 3 years now, even if I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like it,
Mm-hmm.
even if the only thing I did was have dinner with my family. Like I
Mm-hmm.
wake up at 5 or 6 p.m. I just have dinner. That's it. Parang my mind is saying, "You worthless piece of shit. You didn't do anything today. You didn't work." That's the voice in my head. Then
Yeah,
I
but you have to control that.
yeah, because that's your first no, step,
Yes,
diba?
that's the first step.
Then-
To control that and
So
turn it upside down, make it positive. Like,
yun. So
mm-hmm,
yung counting my blessings is not yet data, but I just look for something like, oh, I had dinner with my family, diba?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm,
look, COVID or not, if my parents pass away,
Mm.
well, diba? Like, dude, why didn't you appreciate it when you could have, diba? So
Yes,
I
yes.
count it, diba? But it has to be real. Like, I can't
Yes,
go
of course,
counting my
yes.
blessings. I had my very first live with Athena, but
Hmm.
it wasn't significant or purposeful for me. For example lang, then I
Mm-hmm.
won't write it. That would be a lie. But if
Yeah.
it is, because nag-effort talaga ako, this is so far out of my comfort zone, I'll count it
Mm-hmm.
as a
Yes.
win, a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So you had four steps. Um, what are my acts of ungraciousness to myself? The words we
Mm-hmm.
say to ourselves. Watch the sunrise in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
A traumatic event, the root cause, to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth is meditation. So that's
Mm-hmm.
three steps: the relaxation, deep breathing, the
Mm-hmm.
intention phase. What's my intention here? And the
Mm-hmm.
return phase. You said bring your awareness like, back to your surroundings, or
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Because when
okay,
you're on the intention phase, you focus on what your mantra is, what your intention for the day is. So once you do that, there's a significant part of you. Let's say if you, because I have to practice to be joyful kasi 'di ba depression nga, 'di ba? So
same.
I
I
had to
could relate.
practice. Yes, so I had to practice that even though I don't feel it, but once the mantra is done, like the meditation is done, afterwards you'd feel light. Like you'd feel na hindi ka
Ah,
na masyadong ano, hindi ka na masyadong down.
yeah, the weight, the emotion, the
Yes,
vibe, the feeling.
really helps. Like what you say to yourself in the morning once you wake up is also important. So when, because remember, I got scared nga every time I would wake up, diba? So I had to change that. I had to practice
Athena reconnecting. So connection. All right. So Athena was saying the things or the words we say to ourselves in the morning is actually very important. So while Athena's reconnecting, people watching the live or the replay, you could comment also. What are some of the things that you say to yourself in the morning? So I'm gonna bring Athena back.
sorry nawala.
No problem. Live talaga eh. So I was asking lang, like when you left, like
Oh,
thought to self, what are some of the things I say to myself in the morning?
yes. What are the
So,
things you say? Sige nga, Martin.
shit, like I'm not a morning person. So,
Yeah. Me too. I'm not,
like,
but I had to be.
what did you do then? Like, if you're not a morning person, do you
Mm-hmm.
do like? I know some people they do affirmations. They're like, put your hand in your heart, like I am blessed, I am positive, I am healthy.
Exactly. That's what I
Like,
do.
like what Isabel Daza teaches to her kid or something. Like,
Oh,
do you?
I do that to my son too. I
Oh,
at night. At night I do that to my son kasi nga 'di ba? It, to keep him away from being stressed out as well, and to build that nurturing sense of mindfulness for him, to
wow.
develop positivity on what he would think eventually as he sleeps. As we sleep, we're also thinking, So at night, when he sleeps, I would whisper to him one before I sleep as well, that you are talented, you are smart, you are brave, and
Wild.
the things that you want your child to be you want to project to your child as well. But you also say that to yourself in the morning, like when you wake up. I am blessed, I am loved, I'm
Wow.
joyful, I'm at peace. Like, kasi di ba medyo shaky ako because of the anxiety. So I have to project, I am at peace every day. So in the morning, that's what I do. That's the routine that I do. I wake up in the morning. I do meditation, and the mantra is always either to heal my body or
Mhm.
heal my mental health or heal the brain cells in my brain. Anything like
Yeah, healing talaga is what
I
I've
actually have to
been
send you
intending.
a meditation video para medyo mas magka-idea ka to what I really listen to in the morning. Because
Yeah,
I,
you can actually share it in the comments of this video.
oh yeah, sure,
Parang
sure.
maybe people would also get an idea. Like this meditation will also help me if I try it, the 3 steps or.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And Martin, another sign of depression is when you have nightmares. So when you have nightmares, like it's senseless nightmares, like you don't even know why it you were dreaming of it, but um that's a sign of depression. So when you have that, constantly have that routine to destroy that dream of yours, to change it into a positive one. And as I've said earlier, our mental health needs exercise. And this is, if our body needs exercise, our physical body needs exercise, our mental health also needs exercise. So when you feed your body, your mental health, um, positivity, that is the food that you're putting your mind to, and it becomes healthy. But if you feed it negatively, like negative voices inside your head, and if you don't control it and turn it into positive, it will eventually become negative, and everything that you think will negative, and it will affect your body eventually, which becomes depression.
Positive voices. So this is like
Yeah.
all of the intentions,
Mm-hmm.
all of the whatever we're like getting influenced, see what people say
Yeah.
to us.
Mm-hmm.
So someone here, so we're just engaging right now. Someone said try the Calm app. I'm not sure if
Mm-hmm.
you're familiar with that.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
heard Calm app and a lot of people use it. It really helps. It can be
Uh-huh.
customized to fit your meditation needs. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing that also, no, because Athena's been sharing for like an hour and 20 minutes, no. So and I'll just add it on a side note, no, because
Oh.
Athena's examples are deep breathing, yoga. For
Mm-hmm.
people who don't know, no, where I found meditation was riding a motorcycle. So that was unexpected, no. But what I'm learning, no, because people will say, look up Eckhart Tolle or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Being present to the moment or mindfulness is that's just the whole point. However you get to it.
So the difference with mindfulness and meditation is that meditation is the general word, but
Mhm.
for mindfulness. So when you're mindful of what you're doing, let's say you're just cooking and you're being mindful of your what you're cooking, that is alone is meditation. And if
Wow.
you're happy in doing that, that alone is another type of meditation. So when you're studying and you're focused on that, that is a type of meditation, a mindful meditation.
Wow.
So anything that you do, if you're mindful of what you're doing, actually for me, what helped another thing that helped me is that I'm a creative person alone. So I love makeups. That's the thing I
Your
love.
passion. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing I love doing. I enjoy doing that. And when I got depressed, I stopped putting makeup on. I stopped playing with my
Mm.
makeups. And when I found out that it is the one that the depression is the one causing it, I was asked to do it, even though even if I don't want to. I was asked
Oh,
to put makeup on even if I don't want to. I
galing.
did. I listened to that. I put some discipline on myself that even if I don't want to, I will do it, so that someday it it will reap rewards. Basically, it will reap rewards for your mental health. So, and now
Wow.
I enjoy putting makeups once again. You know, like I just enjoy doing it.
Did it help you putting the makeup on because you love makeup, or is it because it made you mindful, or both, or like
Both. It
both?
made me happy because eventually I realized, oh, I love makeup.
Oh,
Eventually, it made me wake up from the that depressive mood. So every
all right.
day in the morning, once I take a bath, take a shower, I put makeup on just because I want to, just because I want to be happy. It doesn't mean that if
Wow.
you're putting makeup on, it doesn't mean that, oh, you look ugly or you think that you're ugly. No, it's just because you love doing it. You just love
Wow. Wow, this
putting
is
it
so
on.
deep. I'm a
Yeah,
guy.
like
I have
these
no
are
idea about this
simple
stuff.
things, right? These are simple things, like what you're doing, like you're riding a motorcycle, and you didn't know that you're doing a meditation because you're just being mindful of driving, and you're just having fun out of it. But that's a part of meditation.
Yeah, I don't know if this will make sense for the others. When I ride a
Mm-hmm.
motorcycle, kasi, it really requires undivided attention for me.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm distracted, you're gonna crash, ah.
Yes.
Talagang masasagasahan ka, you're gonna hit the truck, the tricycle, whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
all of the noise in my head goes away. I can't think
Mm-hmm.
of it, eh, or else I'm gonna crash.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if for you, makeup, maybe some other people, but they have another thing.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that would help, diba?
Anything that brings happiness is a part of meditation.
Actually,
Anything.
yeah, like me, I'm doing this with you right now. I just stopped my lunch. I just ate half of it, but I still
Why?
feel
You should
good.
have eaten all of it before you do that.
So we could start at 1, diba? 1 o'clock. So it's also like a weird code of honor thing because I'm usually late. Oh, but let's change the words, diba? I'm getting better.
Yes. I'm getting
So,
better.
so people watching them, what we're sharing here, and I love what Athena's sharing. It's really your truth, your story, because like I don't know if some person shares and says my life was perfect. Yeah, right. Diba? Parang, I don't know how believable that is, diba? But if it
nobody's
is, hey, respect to you.
nobody's life is perfect talaga. And this is makes
Mhm.
it I'm glad that our times are changing. This information's age has changed everybody, and now anxiety and depression is not something that we shrug off anymore. Like now it is being understood. It's being
Yeah,
yeah, like it everybody when we say, oh, she's experiencing anxiety and depression, oh, before it you people used to shrug it off like, oh, that's nothing, but now it's
correct.
not
Yeah.
that they it times changed already, and now they understand what it means and what it is.
All right. So we're approaching like 1.5 hours. I'm just again, it's just
Mm-hmm.
like a quick time check. So I agree with that. And again, it's not like we're um it's not like those movements about like that's just trying to make some noise. What I like about the sharing is it's helpful, diba? We're
Mm-hmm.
not just trying to like say, hey, I want to be heard. What I like or appreciate is you're giving steps. You're sharing what helped you, and I think your experience in 2018 was more acute or debilitating
Mm-hmm.
because when mine hit in 2014, for
Mm-hmm.
some reason I couldn't function like for half a year, but then I kind of like machine forced myself to work, in life insurance until this day. And then in 2018, I think I just, you know, I felt like I had to do quantum leap or work on my personal development because
Mm-hmm.
I could achieve more, but I felt like, going to the top floor of the buildings in Makati and jumping off. Diba?
Oh, so
I
you
mean,
you
like,
have that.
I
more.
mean, it's like if they say, push harder, star club like that. And my case count is normally very low every year. It's like, damn, every time you say that, it's like I want to buy a rope in the hardware store, diba? And then learn how
Mm-hmm.
to tie a noose, diba? I'm like, it wasn't sustainable for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it felt, So people who feel misunderstood, diba? I think sometimes you just gotta do it. You gotta do even though people don't understand, diba?
Yes.
Which is why we're having this. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just do a quick recap from the start now, because the main question was, how did you heal from depression,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, and
Mm-hmm.
panic attacks? So you made me realize I was having that too in
Mm-hmm.
2013, 14. And
Mm-hmm.
then it started, if I took my notes correctly, it started 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there was like that moment about like when your mom passed away. And then
Mm-hmm.
for a year, even like a period of like 1 week, it was like happening every day. The attacks about like 10 times like that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's severe or talagang acute, diba?
Mm-hmm.
The panic attacks. Then you were so tired, you were so like sobrang napapagod na. Your path to healing then started because you first went to a psychiatrist, so
Mm-hmm.
saw a professional,
Uh-huh.
because you were reaching a point where you couldn't sleep for days.
Yes.
So and I realized like that's scary because in college there was like a scholar, a guy who didn't sleep for 2 3 days or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think he ate like a heavy meal or something. Then when he
Mm-hmm.
went to sleep, he never woke up. So his body kind of collapsed because he
Uh-huh.
lacked sleep. He was overworked or tired.
Uh-huh.
So that's serious stuff. And then the second was you were kind of like you went to the psychologist naman, the
Mm-hmm.
psychiatrist, and then
It's
Cefam
Japan. Japan.
Cefam pala was that support group was super helpful. I heard of
Yes.
them rin kasi there's a person I met who is active with CCF or like a Christian community.
Okay.
So parang I think a person also went through that. No? So
Mm-hmm.
again, it's also you just donate 500 a session,
Mm-hmm.
and
And their
then
approach is
yeah,
psycho spiritual. Psycho
psycho
spirit.
spiritual. So it's
Yes.
not all like purely spiritual. There's also like
Yes.
science back to
Yeah.
it.
It's more actually psychos because like it's what we are experiencing is pathological. So they have to coordinate with psychologists for that. So they don't really tackle spirituality most of the time.
Mm.
They tackle how will they will help you to reach the point where you don't need the medication anymore or you
I
don't
like
have.
that also. So you're not dependent. That was
Yeah.
one thing I didn't like about meds, no, or that scared me. Because
Mm-hmm.
most people I saw who took meds, they end up dependent on it. They never really got to the root cause. But your
Mm-hmm.
story is different. So
Uh-huh.
you mentioned depression. It actually comes from how you were nurtured. So it's not like an overnight thing. Parang your body or your brain, it took a while to actually reach that point. It was building
Yes.
up.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
then you found your root cause. It actually wasn't the loss of your mom. Parang it was a traumatic experience, like that
Mm-hmm.
unforgivable act.
Mm-hmm.
And then one line hit me here. You said, no matter how hard I try, it's not going away. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something I could resonate or feel. That's why since 2014,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying, diba? And then there are days I'm like, damn, but is it
Uh-huh.
ever gonna go away, diba? So for
Yes.
for people who are watching this, and then you
Mm-hmm.
went to the 4 steps again. So what are my acts of ungraciousness to myself? So the
Mm-hmm.
words we say to ourselves from the start of the day to the end, even when we sleep. 2, watch the sunrise in the morning. 3, get to the root cause, the traumatic event, and then let it go through forgiveness to free yourself. So I liked how you said forgiveness is not an emotion. So as a guy, I like that. That was very fitting for me.
Yeah, me too.
Because yeah, again, no, like I have a hard time with that. But when you explained it that way, I'm like, oh no, no, I could just
Mm-hmm.
act it that way pala, no. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to forgive the person, like parang if their act is unforgivable. It's just a process. The
Mm-hmm.
fourth, meditation. So you share the three-step one. So
Mm-hmm.
deep breathing, intention, return phase. Is
Yeah.
is there like anything else you feel like adding in your healing? Because you said you're towards the end or the healing phase already. If
Mm-hmm.
someone is like just starting or in the middle of it, I don't know if I'm in the middle. Hopefully get to the end. Like would
You
is
try
there
to
any
assess yourself. Like you try to assess yourself. Cause say I see you, Martin. You're you know how you know like you are aware already. You're aware of what's happening already to you. So what you could do is apply discipline even without motivation. You know what I mean? Like apply all those things with discipline even without motivation. Don't wait for the motivation to come before you do it. And if it's about like your body clock, you try
yeah.
to train you can train your body clock, like you can reset it, and then try doing it like for 3 days. Let's say try
Mhm.
doing it for 3 days, and then once you feel like, oh, I've done it for 3 days, then I could do it for a week. Like basically reset it,
You can
reset it.
reset.
Mm-hmm.
Or
And
it
then
yeah, go lang, like you're in the flow.
uh-huh. Or yeah, just reset it. Apply discipline without motivation. Actually,
Yung
that's a part of me na medyo big ha, nung time na yon. Kasi I don't have the motivation to do anything. Like I don't really have anything to motivate myself. Even though I have a son, it doesn't help me eh. Like
wow,
why? It's
talaga?
actually why. Like it's a question for me. When you're depressed, there's nothing that motivates you, right?
What were to make it practical lang no, the tips.
Mhm.
What were those small acts of discipline that you would do that helped you like get better? So
Mhm.
people can get an idea. It can be anything, diba? But the one that worked for you,
Well,
like
of course,
consistent
when
discipline.
you have a son or you have a family, of course you turn your motivation to them. But when you're depressed, you don't feel anything. Like you don't feel motivated. Anything that is surrounding you that are blessings, you don't see it as a blessing. Eh. But if you apply discipline because you want to get better,
Ah, okay.
you want to get better and you want to escape this scenario in your life or season in your life, you apply discipline because it is okay to move around with discipline even
Mhm.
without motivation.
Because you want to get better.
Yeah, because you want to get better and because you
What what
want to be happy.
what were examples of that? Yung discipline that you want to get better. Is it like every day you would like wash the clothes or something? Like what were
uh,
acts of discipline that you did?
every day I would wake up and tell myself my affirmations
Okay.
in the morning. Affirmations in the morning. This is my routine ha. I had to apply this routine kasi if I hadn't, I just basically applied the idea of um exercise, like body exercise. If you're exercising and you want to achieve a toned
Correct.
body, then you have to do it every day. So it's the same thing with mental health. If you want to get better, you have to do it every day, even if you don't feel like it. Even if you don't see it, like if you don't see it in the mirror, it doesn't matter. You still do it because that's part of the discipline.
Do you have tips for exercise to physical body? If
Mm-hmm.
someone misses a day, because you're talking discipline,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
parang how do you handle that? Because there's the self-talk that you were saying.
Okay. When you miss doing it in a day, you pat yourself and tell yourself
Oh,
you'll do better tomorrow.
okay.
Yeah, you I was told that by my counselor. I was told by the CFAM counselor to tap myself and say, "It's okay, you will do better tomorrow." Like you do that. I mean, it's really something na parang wait, parang nakakatawa.
Oh nga.
pero it has an impact on you eh. It really has an impact. It's a big impact when you tell that to yourself.
Wild.
It keeps
All
you
right.
from going deeper from depression, yung from get going back to the old ways. It keeps you from going there again.
All right. So we already went down the rabbit hole, 1 hour 40 minutes now.
Yeah.
So
And you have your meeting at 3.
three. Oh nga na. Word of
3 na.
honor. So do you have any last thing you wanna share? I think you might have a page or a group, a
Yeah,
profile.
yeah. Should I share it here in the chat comment?
You
Tama
can
ba?
actually in the chat. I think you even can share your screen or something with this setup. That's how
Okay.
high tech StreamYard is. But
I'll go to
it
my.
so people can also know how to reach you because
Uh-huh.
I believe you're helping women. I'm not sure if it's
Mhm.
mothers or
Well,
people who are going
anybody
through.
actually who's experiencing depression, I try to help. Like I post other stuff there too as a mom, so just in case don't be confused.
Yeah. So
Mm,
people who check out your page, your
that's my
profile.
page. Just in case you wanna check out my routine every day. I usually post my
Let's put it here.
routine on my days or stories, but sometimes I also post it and I add some details as well.
Okay, maybe it you sent it to me in the private chat, no?
Oh
So
yeah. So
I'm not
comments.
yeah, I'm not sure if
Oh,
there's a way to put this
yeah,
in the
I'm not
comment.
allowed eh.
I think it's because we're
Mm-hmm.
on stream. So I
Oh, okay.
think after the live ends, it's already
I'll
three
just
o'clock
put it.
no. You
Uh-huh.
can always just share, comment once it gets uploaded naman.
Okay.
So any last thing aside from that, you can people watching the live no, and the replay, you can check out Athena's page. I think it's called Mermaid's Hair.
Yeah. Sorry for that. Mermaids here. That's my high school name.
Yeah, no problem. Though. I mean,
Okay.
some people are like hooking Master Boy or something. So it's all good. So Athena, thank you again no, for sharing that. Again, the main question I believe was answered. How did
Mm-hmm.
you heal from your depression,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, and panic attacks?
Mm-hmm.
So we already did a summary from
Mm-hmm.
this, and then people who want to rewatch the video, uh, you can always do that. I took a lot of notes. Literally, people who don't believe. No, I mean, I really wrote down. That's how I listen. So I
I,
hope.
I can send you stuff to Martin. I'll send you.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, thanks, Athena. Again,
Thank
I hope
you.
this helps other people then, not just me.
Yes.
So I'm
We
gonna
can do
review this.
another one if you want. We can discuss the BDNF thing. My doctor told me about it, and that's also one of the strategies I had to look into to
For your
healing.
healing.
Mhm,
The
mhm.
You mentioned that was like 10 ways
10
by
ways, yes, 10
Dr.
ways.
John. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another way that helped you heal. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So thank
Okay.
you. This is like the very first live interview of Real Talk Lifeline. Hope you
My
guys
pleasure.
enjoy that. Comment down below. And then again, thank you to Athena.
You're
Thank you so
welcome,
much for this.
Martin. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.